whether it's ease or dis-ease, those are only symptoms of your balance of thought. And let me tell you why. Stay tuned. Greetings, beautiful spirit. Welcome to the channel, Charlotte on the Web. Oh, I got another law of attraction card. Actually, I am doing another. There are several different decks of cards, and I'm doing another deck of cards, which is about health and the law of attraction, and really trying to dig deep into understanding my physical health, right, as well as my mental and spiritual health, and how that relates to the law of attraction. And so I'm going to be doing these cards, and the first one I'm going to do, well, at least for today, it says both ease and dis-ease are symptoms of my balance of thought. And I'm going to read the back of it, and then we're going to get into it. Look, you would be accurate to point to the faucet as a source of water coming into your kitchen sink. But there is much more to the story of where the water comes from than only the faucet. And in like manner, there is much more to the story about the source of wellness or of illness. See, your ease or dis-ease is a symptom of the balance of your thought. And that balance will manifest through the path of least resistance, as surely as water flows downhill. Can I get an amen? See the card? Love this card. Very beautiful card. Woo! Path of least resistance. What I love most about this card for me is that, man, I used to be one of those people that I said, oh, I never get sick. I'm always well. Nothing ever happens to me. I'm like a horse. But I was always tired. I had aches and pains, things that, headaches, different moments where, I felt certain physical, ailments, but, they were temporary. And so I didn't really kind of own them as illness or anything like that. And what I would discover years later, after kind of really being the kind of person that really ignored physical symptoms, physical ailments, physical pain, physical dis-ease, is that that accumulative effect really would have some consequences later on in life. But more importantly, those physical symptoms were more about what I was manifesting in my mind. And see, I thought I had, my mental under wraps, and not so much that I was clear about everything in life, not that I was well or positive or any of that, because I really was quite depressed for many, many years, had lots of suicidal ideation, just felt down and out and angry and frustrated and resentful, because I know, as I've mentioned before in videos, I always felt like I was performative. I was always trying to be what other people wanted me to be, and I really was not tuned in, tapped into who and what I was, and what was my intentions and how to align myself with that, right? So I spent a lot of time being performative, but also spent a lot of time really feeling down and out. And that wasn't necessarily expressed to the public because I felt like I had to perform a certain way in order to be accepted and to be a part of the world. But when I would turn from the world and go home and go inward, it was dark. It was very dark. And I think what I realize now that I didn't realize at the time is that a lot of that dis-ease, mental dis-ease, really would manifest itself physically. And I was good. I was good at being numb. So if I was good at being mentally numb, I somehow figured out how to be physically numb. But yet the reality situation is that sooner or later, that stuff will come out and it travels to the path of least resistance. So for me, for example, I feel like my body will respond to dis-ease in many different ways. First of all, I would feel it in my stomach. Like if my stomach felt crunched up, I knew there was something going on and I wasn't feeling right mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And it just was a physical manifestation. But also headaches and backaches. And those are the two. I don't know if you guys know Louise Hay. I remember I read her book many, many years ago, and I was struggling with back pain, lower back pain, and there was nothing wrong with my back. or so I thought. She said in her book about like understanding, like if you have a certain kind of illness or ailment or whatever in your body, it usually is a manifestation of something. And what for backache, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but lower backache really means that you are feeling like you are not supported, that there is a lack of support. Anything in the back is about lack of support, because your back really is the thing that supports you throughout life, right? It is, I mean, without your back, you can't, you can't function as a human being, much like your feet. Really, your back is like that stronghold, that kind of fibrous material that really carries you forward and allows you to stand and be and move and have your being. And that when you suffer from back pain, a lot of times it has to do with the fact that you don't feel supported. And that's exactly how I was feeling. It was so interesting to kind of, I remember I was in this bookstore and I opened up her book and I went straight to the page about back pain. And sure enough, and she had it kind of, separated out, and there was like upper back pain, middle back pain, and lower back pain. But she said that lower back pain is someone who just really feels zero lack of support from the world around them. And I realized that in my struggles in the world, that the path of least resistance was to show up as back pain, you know, because mentally I was too numb to really deal with it. And because I consider myself a horse and I probably could have easily gotten sick, but I would never allow myself to get sick somehow. I was using, you know, so interesting how I could use my mind for certain things. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but I'm just going to say that, the notion of ease and dis-ease also too, another thing I want to say is that I remember the first time I really understood that there was this ease and dis-ease, it was like being presented to me, was when I went to Full Truth Unity Fellowship Church. And I remember Reverend Renee McCoy, I might have mentioned her before. She did the sermon and she talked about ease and dis-ease. And I hadn't really considered the word, the 3-letter word dis in front of ease, and how there's ease and then there's dis-ease. And I was like, what? And disease is what we call it. That really, when we're experiencing disease, that is because our bodies are not at ease. And what I'm learning spiritually is that if your mind is not at ease, then your physical body is not going to be at ease. And so it is really a requirement of us to get centered and balance our thoughts. And I'm going to say this, like, balancing your thoughts is a process. It is a journey. It's not something you're going to be able to do overnight. And Lord knows it didn't take me overnight. It's not to say that it can't happen, because I always say people have different paths, and people can do the spiritual journey in many, many, many different ways. Some people can instantly make change, and some of us, like me, have got to I tell people, I feel like I'm spiritually special ed. I'm on the short school bus when it comes to spiritual education. Like, I'm spiritually special ed, and proud of it, that I have to sometimes learn my lessons over and over again. You got to slow, methodical. I got to hear it, a certain way in order for me to listen. And so, spiritual special ed. Yes, very proud. Anyways, and so, like getting into alignment, getting my thoughts into alignment is really about getting your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions all in alignment, right? And the reason why that's important, right, is because the action and the feeling is part of the physical. It's really, really the majority of the physical, really, in terms of how we present in the world. And so having that all in balance, having that all in alignment, I don't think it really is about balance. It's about alignment. Like if we're thinking one thing and we're feeling another, and then we're acting out in some kind of confused or contradictory way, then that's what's going to manifest in our life. But what's beautiful about the infinite intelligence, y'all, is, and I don't know if I think I say this too much, but I'm going to keep saying it, is that when you surrender, oh, thank you, Spirit. The path of least resistance is for the good to come, for the joy to show up, for the peace to be overly abundant. I mean, that is the path of least resistance. We think the path of least resistance is all this struggle and negativity and, inability to kind of manifest. That's when we're going against the flow. That's when we're disconnected from spirit. But when we reconnect to spirit, right? Oh, oh, it just does my heart good. Because I know this to be true. I've just seen it manifest in my life time and time again. When I surrender, it's like, I want to say miracles happen. And although I know that it's not necessarily a miracle. It's just like, and if it is just like, I'm just handling my business. I got this on lock if you would just let go. And if you allow for the path of least resistance. And I will say this, the path of least resistance is about joy and peace and happiness. And that's why they say reach for a better feeling, because the better you feel, the more space you open up for the infinite intelligence to take you on a path of least resistance, which will always be full of love, always be full of joy, always be full of peace. So fam, talk to me. Like, what do you understand about ease and dis-ease? And understanding that, this dis-ease, we may think that the flu is from a, viral or bacterial bug, and it is, but what is it about our immune system? What is it about our mind that's affecting our immune system so that we can't fight all bugs? You know what I mean? Like, we look at the outcomes of things, but we don't think about what is the root cause. And so much of the root cause is our minds. So how are you going to empower yourself to really be about not only just balancing your thought, but aligning your thought, right? So that you can feel at ease and put away all that dis-ease and disease. But know that dis-ease serves a purpose. It's a point of contrast. The beautiful thing about dis-ease is that it lets you know, look, I ain't feeling this dis-ease, and what I prefer at any given moment in time is ease. And so, you can't appreciate the light without the dark. You can't appreciate the dark without the light. So therefore, just a point of contrast. Let it be what it's going to be, but then say, you know what, thank you for allowing me to see this point of contrast, but let's move into the ease, and I am open to it happening and the path of least resistance. That's what I meant when I said before, like surrendering to spirit. I feel like spirit, will just manifest things and make things happen. They seem so miraculous, but I guess what it is really just a path of least resistance. Spirit, like, look, let me just do my thing. It's gonna be, it's just gonna happen. It's not, all the stuff that I'm thinking about it and feeling and acting out. Spirit's like, oh, that's not really, that's not how the universal energy goes. And then of course, time and time again, I have to learn, because I'm spiritually special ed. So share with me, fam, how you go about aligning yourself, right? And creating your balance of thought, because I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll see you next time. Take good care of yourselves, okay? Peace. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got a little something out of it, and I look forward to sharing with you more of my thoughts about spirituality. Understand that this ain't meant to be no monologue. I'm not preaching at you, but this is a space for discussion. So please, pretty please, with sugar on top, leave your text or video comments below, because I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I'll see you next time, wishing you nothing but peace, prosperity, and a whole bunch of love. Take care now, beautiful spirits. I love you, and namaste.